Buddy. Welcome to our interview with Jay-Z Pitts, author of Virtual Rebel. This is usually where Ryan would hold up a little copy of the book here, but we'll put a thumbnail or something. Hey, there we go. Good work, man. Good work. Well prepared. So I knew that this was going to be one that we featured after I read the first chapter and really enjoyed it on one of our threads. And what pulled me in straight away was I'm a big video games guy. I love playing video games. And I immediately clocked several things that told me that you are also a man who plays video games. Would that be that be fair to assume? I actually made a list that we'll go through later of all the video games that I suspect may have inspired some of the stuff that happens in the book.
For sure.
But we'll get to that. So I wanted to start with the whole idea of simulation, the Matrix, living in other worlds. There's something a bit of isekai to it, I guess, but this was your debut novel, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. It kind of started off as a writing exercise, and then the further I got into it, the more I realized, hey, I think I may have something here.
Yeah. What was the creation process like then? Where did it start?
Well, it started with wanting to try a few different things. I'd never written YA before, and I'd never written by the seat of my pants before. So those were two things that I kind of wanted to see if I could do. I had previously written um, a sci-fi novel that will forever remain unpublished. So I knew I could do it. I was like, okay, let's see if I could do it again. And so I sat down and began writing what became Virtual Rebel.
Mhm.
And like I said, it was just an experiment. It's like, okay, let's see if I could do this, let's see if I could do that. And the more it evolved and the more the process went on, I was like, you know, this isn't actually half bad. This
Mhm.
may be worthy of a debut. So that's how everything started.
It's quite a big decision, isn't it, to make that first kind of jump into it? So you hadn't published anything before that?
Not novel wise. I'd published some short stories here and there and some magazines and anthologies, but nothing novel length.
And what made you go for this genre? Is this something that was kicking around in your head for a while, like an idea that you'd had germinating, I guess?
A little bit. I am a huge fan of science fiction, and the movie Ready Player One was a huge inspiration for Virtual Rebel. I haven't read the book yet, and I'm told I need to read the book, but haven't got to it yet. It's
Even
kind of
more
funny.
references in the book.
Say what?
There's even more references in the book. Ready Player
Oh, I'm
One is
sure.
just
Yeah,
pages of references.
that's what I've heard. It's like a huge 80s trivia
Mhm.
encyclopedia or something like that.
Yeah.
Um, so I really enjoyed the movie, and it took me by surprise because when I saw the trailers for the movie, I was like, it didn't really grab my attention. But the fact that it was Spielberg and the fact that I was also dating my now wife at the time,
Mhm.
we wanted to go see a movie, didn't really see anything else that looked promising. So we were like, yeah, let's go see Ready Player One. We were both like, oh, wow, that was actually really good.
Uh-huh.
So, and for some reason, the concept of life in a virtual world just really grabbed my imagination.
Mhm.
And how much of your life can you transfer to the digital world?
Mhm.
That really was something that kind of stuck with me and something I wanted to play with Virtual Rebel.
Do you think it's the kind of thing that you would do yourself if you could put a headset on and just be in your favorite place, doing these cool adventures with your friends and stuff? Would you do it? Would you do it?
I'm not sure. I have actually not really done much with virtual reality in real life, so uh, yeah, I don't know. There's definitely an appeal there. I can definitely see the appeal, but I don't know, man. The older I get, the more I can appreciate what's real.
It's one of those sci-fi concepts that I love. I love digital universes, Matrix type things, simulations. I love all that. But I'm very aware. I don't know if you've ever seen that meme, like, oh, here's Isaac Asimov's book about the agony matrix. And then nowadays, oh, scientists announce that we've found out how to build the agony matrix. We're going to build it for real. You're like, man, we warned you about that. I feel like this is one of those technologies. The stories are always about how separating yourself from the real world is
Mm.
generally a negative thing. I think that's why it pairs up as a genre with dystopia so
Oh
well,
yeah.
because like what are you trying to get away from? And so the dystopia in this book, I really liked. One of my favorite moments of the novel. Spoilers, by the way, full spoiler alert. We'll be talking about everything. Was when she steps outside for the first time, like outside.
Mm.
Did you draw on anything specifically for that scene? Like, is there a particular place near you or anything that you used for that?
No, no, but I knew I needed to make it a very impactful moment in the book. It had to really resonate with her, really make her feel like, because up until that point she had been interested in returning things to the way they were, her life before everything got disrupted. She wasn't really interested in bettering her life or the lives of those around her. She just wanted to, go back to normal. And so this needed to be an impactful moment for her. And at the same time, there's nothing really specific about what she sees or what she feels that has the direct impact on her. It's everything. It's this, I don't know. Sometimes have you ever just gone outside, like if you've gone on vacation or something and I don't know, you're outside and you're in a mountain range and you just feel the openness and you feel the grandness and you're just like, whoa, and I wanted to have that kind of moment for her, but she's not necessarily seeing anything spectacular or whoa, anything. But the fact that she's going outside for the first time just naturally has that moment for her, and it needed to shake her a little bit. So that was kind of my inspiration for writing the scene the way I did.
I think the scene was written, appreciated with such a kind of generality that anyone knows what it's like to step outside and hear the birds singing. There's birds everywhere. Wherever you get people, you get birds. Uh, I thought that was cool. You could apply it to, it could have been anywhere in the world and it would have been the same kind of thing that gives her that. And so another influence that I wanted to touch on because I think it's hard to write a video game-ish story without getting a little bit into kind of lit RPG. And is that something that you're a fan of? Was that deliberate?
I do enjoy lit RPG. I there's certain tropes and conventions that I'm not necessarily a fan of. I'm not necessarily a fan of like the lists that they make of
Yeah.
like, okay, I've got to upgrade this ability, upgrade this ability, upgrade this ability, and I've got to, I'm chaotic neutral and, just all that. That stuff doesn't really interest me. So anytime I've read lit RPG and they get to those moments, I kind of glaze over a little bit. And that's why that's not really in Virtual Rebel.
Yeah.
Um, so it there's some inspirations, some lit RPG inspirations in Virtual Rebel, but I kind of think of it more like a Portal fantasy.
Yeah.
It's much more, you plug in and you're there and you're doing stuff.
Yeah. If there was one thing that I kept track of, it was how many health potions Ava had on her at any one time.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, right.
Again, I kept that stuff kind of vague because
Mhm.
it's not that interesting to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did want to use like, certain conventions and stuff like that because she does hang out in the gaming side of the Haven more than any other place. So,
Yeah. Is there any? Before I start guessing the games that I think you might have enjoyed yourself or been inspired by for the book, was there any one game that you played that you thought, this is basically what I'm seeing it as, or anything that inspired it?
uh, I don't know, not maybe not any one specific game. I lately haven't been gaming as much as I would like. I actually haven't
Mhm.
played a game in quite a while, just busy with family and work and writing and it just doesn't leave a whole lot of time for gaming. But as a teenager, I played computer games a lot.
Yeah.
And the ones I really enjoyed were like more action driven.
Hmm.
And so most of my inspirations are going to be older games. Like I played the heck out of Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, those games. Oh man, I loved the old Jedi Knight games. what was another one? There was I can't remember the name of it now, but there was an old Spider-Man game that I played a lot too. So it was more all my inspirations were older games and
Mhm.
they were less RPG back in the day and more focused on, action or exploration or puzzles and stuff like that.
Yeah, as I was reading through it, I was trying to think what it reminded me of, and it was definitely more an action RPG kind of more Diablo than like
Yeah.
World of Warcraft. Like just big number,
Hmm.
good.
Yeah.
It didn't get too complicated with it, which I appreciated. Like you said, it's easy to get bogged down in those little details when you're writing something that's got like levels and hit points and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So I guess then I wrote this question while I was playing it because the thought came to me. Like if one of the video games that I played, if I was going to go into that world, which one would it be? And it's hard to pick because most of them are terrible because there
Yeah.
needs to be like a dramatic story or like a cool setting. Like yeah, Fallout is good fun, but you wouldn't want to live in the world.
No.
So I wanted to ask then, if you were going to have like a haven place of your own, where would you make it? What would it be like for you?
Hmm. Good question. Well, it would probably be less action driven, less dystopian, just because, in real life I don't care to engage with that. Uh,
You're not
it's
big
fun
on
in
sword
fiction.
fighting in real life. Yeah.
It's fun in fiction, but not so much in real life.
Amen. Yeah.
I don't know. There was a new Hobbit game I think that came out recently. I haven't played it, like some sort of cozy
Yeah.
yeah, it'd probably be something like that, just something where I could be like, you know what, I get to be in the Shire, I can go fishing, I can garden, I
Mhm.
can, live in my little hobbit hole. I'd be cool with that.
These power fantasies change as we get older, don't they? Like,
For sure. Yeah. Teenage me would be horrified to hear me now.
yeah, yeah. I used to want to be Batman. Now I want to
Yeah.
be a hobbit who has no responsibilities, nothing to worry about.
Yes.
Cool, cool. So I also got a little giggle out of the usernames that the people are using. That gave me a good laugh. I grew up on early 90s, early 2000s kind of internet. So, early Call of Duty, Modern Warfare lobbies and stuff. The usernames were atrocious. There was a lot of, I won't say all the funny ones, I can't really say on the interview, sadly. But there's a lot. Did you have something that you drew on for them, or did you have to go looking for inspiration for them?
No, like at the time when I was writing it, I was having a lot of conversations with a gamer friend of mine who's much more into it than me, and he would, tell me about some of the usernames and stuff like that. And I would just, read about some of the usernames too. And I was like, oh, I gotta have a little fun with this. And I actually reference my friend in the game. I'm not gonna give the username, but it's his real username that I used in the game just give a little, nod and wink for him.
Nice, nice. Yeah, there was a couple that I thought that sounds like it could be a real one. I wondered if they were
Yeah.
from real life.
Yeah.
So then there's a lot to get into with the book itself. The action was clear, which is hard to find. A lot of people write action with a very blurry kind of interpretation where you can't really tell what's happening.
Mm.
Did you have any like practice, or where did you get your style of writing action scenes from? Was there any kind of specific technique that you've used for them or anything?
Um, if I remember right, because it's been a few years since I wrote the book, at the time I was reading what's the name of that series? The series that Brandon Sanderson finished for the author. No, no, what is it?
Stormlight Archive, I want to say.
No,
Oh,
he finished it for the
Wheel of
author that
Time.
died. Wheel of Time. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
Robert
Wheel of
Jordan.
Time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, Robert Jordan. Exactly. So I was reading those books and I still haven't finished them. I've taken an extended break because I was hitting them pretty hard. But the way he does action in those books is really unique and just you can see it. Like you can see it and that's hard to pull off. And while I don't necessarily think I write action like Jordan does, he was kind of the inspiration for, okay, there's moments when you want to get specific in the action. There's moments that you want to highlight, but you don't want the entire action scene just to be blow by blow because that's really boring when it comes to writing, you know. When it comes to visuals like movies and stuff like that, blow by blow can be exciting, it can be very kinetic. It's something that is unique to film though. Books, if you do it blow by blow, it can just get you could get bogged down and bored and just yeah. So I wanted to give readers a clear understanding of what the important moments were in the action, and then just kind of like montage the rest of the action and just connect it together. And you have to tell a story with the action too. You can't just have action for action's sake. You have to have real stakes and you have to have a story within the action. So that's I wanted to combine all that obviously and in my action scenes.
It's a difficult thing to pull off, but I think you were talking about visualizing it, and I'm a very visual reader and writer. But I judge an action scene on how clearly I can visualize it. I found more often than not, broad strokes are okay for the most part. But like you said, there's moments that call for fine detail, and it's hard to pull that off while keeping the flow going. So like you said, in a movie, you can use sound effects and stunt work and stuff to make it look convincing. But the written word, it's a very different kind of skill to make it flow and to give it a bit of punch. Uh, I've definitely read a lot of bad action scenes written in books where you're like, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah.
Even just things like where people are
Mm,
and things like that. Like, like I'm a big Dungeons and Dragons player. I
mm.
sometimes map out the fights so that I can remember who's where. And if it gets too confusing for me to remember, then the reader's never going to follow it.
Yeah, geography in a fight is very important.
Yeah, even just simple things like above and below. Like if you
Mm.
try to write Anakin versus Obi-Wan, which
Oh
I'm sure
man.
someone's had to do at some point. How do you even
Yeah.
write that? Just the windmilling of lightsabers and stuff. You
Oh,
couldn't do that.
that would be a challenge, man. That yeah, that would be a challenge.
There's a writing project. We'll try and do the entire fight on Mustafar.
Ooh, that'd be a writing exercise right there. Wow.
It's more like an exam. So, with the overarching plot of Virtual Rebel, it's fairly like I can't say I was taken aback by any of the twists. It's sensibly laid out in a way that you can follow the mystery. Uh, when you started writing it, did you know how it was going to end? Like, I know you said you done it by the seat of your pants a little bit.
Starting off, yeah, like the first 6 or 7 chapters, I started off seat of the pants, and then I realized that I needed to create a bit more of an outline. Not an extensive one, but I needed a bit more because the first 6 or 7 chapters were an exploration of the character and the world, but I was like, okay, I need to get the plot going. I need to get the plot going, and to do that, I need to know a general direction in which these characters are going to go in. So I wrote down like very basic outlines for each chapter, and just kind of went from there. But when I started writing it, no, I had no idea how it would end. And even to a certain degree, as I was outlining it, and would write as I outlined, it took me a while to figure out how everything was going to come together and work and all that. So uh, that's part of the fun of writing, though, is like you don't necessarily think of everything beforehand. And so the process of discovery is almost like telling yourself the story, which is kind of half the fun.
Well, we speak to a lot of authors on here, obviously, and it's so interesting to see how many are making it up as they go and how many have page by page breakdowns of what they want to happen. I
Hmm.
usually find that the plans don't survive contact with the first draft. You come up with a cool idea mid-sentence, and you're like, well, I guess we in mecha suits now, like whatever's going to happen.
Yeah, ran into that several times. Yeah, and I do that all the time when I write. You know, the outline kind of sort of goes out the window at certain points, so you just kind of have to modify the outline or just kind of go with it.
You got to kind of set yourself free from it sometimes. But I liked the aliens, the how do you say it? Is it Ungulithi?
The
Ungulithi?
Ungulithi.
Ungulithi.
Yeah.
That was a good word. Where did you come up with the word?
I don't know. I was just kind of like thinking about Tolkien and how he was just like the master of that and how the words he came up with for his good guys and bad guys just fit perfectly. And I know he had a background in language, he had a background in all that stuff, which I don't have. So, I'm not really pulling from some historical, dead language or anything like that, like he was. I was just kind of like meshing words together and being like, this kind of sounds cool. Let's go with this. So,
I'm right there with you. If it sounds cool, it's going in. I used to cheat at this when I had a Dungeons and Dragons group and we had a big world that we played in. And my friend who's Finnish played with us. So whenever I needed a cool sounding word, I'd say, "What's that in Finnish?" She'd say, "Oh, it's this." Some long compound word. I'd be like, "Right, that's the name. That's the name of the
there
kingdom." That's
it is.
and it sounds so exotic.
I
The
know.
Ungulithi, I guess, like Tolkien, Ungoliant is the big spider in the
Yeah,
right that eats the
yeah.
light of the trees and stuff.
Yeah. And hey,
Uh,
that may have been a subconscious inspiration right there because, just you saying that just now, I was like, oh yeah, I guess, yeah, that may have been a
yeah,
subconscious. Ugh.
that's in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to be big spiders when we first met them. But I think the mental image that I had of them was, you ever seen Monsters Inc?
Yeah.
The receptionist lady, uh, but with like more like big long
Yeah.
heads and eyes and stuff, and obviously they've got a kind of carapace over them.
Uh,
But I've seen them like that, and that stuck for the rest of the book, which is great given the, again, spoilers, given the final boss fight, which it's cool that a video game-esque story ends with a big boss fight where the man's got a health bar.
yeah, you gotta, I just didn't see any other way to do it.
So it was, well, I guess I could start asking now about some of the inspirations. I'm surprised that you've not played so many video games recently, because I thought I saw some really recent inspirations in them. Things like the Dark Souls games or
Hmm.
Elden Ring, any of them?
No, I haven't played those. The Souls games, while they sound interesting, they also sound like something I would absolutely just never play because I do not like having to, you know, die over and over again in the process of figuring things out. That's just not my play style. I prefer a bit more things to be a bit more laid out.
Yeah,
Um, but the gamers around me very much into the Souls games, so had some conversations with them, so that there's probably some subconscious stuff going on there. But yeah, not really, didn't really directly pull from Souls games or anything like that.
interesting. So usually in this part of the interview, I pride myself on being able to guess if someone's pulled something or if they're inspired by something. I can usually spot a Terry Pratchett reader at about 20 paces. Uh, But with video games, it might not be quite as good. There was one bit. It's where she's in the city going to meet. I want to say Marshy, Sherry, what's Sheffy, Sheffy.
Sheffy, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Going to meet Sheffy, and she's using the grapple line and the glider to shoot herself over the buildings. Have you ever played the Batman Arkham games at all?
Oh yeah, oh
Right,
yeah,
Arkham City. That's from Arkham City, right?
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I
I love
love,
that game.
yes, so good. So good. I've actually thought about just because I don't have a system right now, and I've literally just thought about buying a system in order just to play those games again because they are
Oh, they're such good
so much
games.
fun.
Such good games.
Yeah. But yeah,
Arkham City's in my top five of all time. I think that's
oh
a
yeah.
that's a peak
Yeah.
peak action
Yeah,
game.
the Arkham Asylum itself too is just yeah, just absolutely brilliant, fun,
It's a
just
masterpiece, man.
yeah. Yeah, to be able, and that was something I didn't get to do as a teenager either, was I got to play like, Spider-Man and stuff like that, but never really got to play Batman. So
There was no good
Batman's
Batman
like one of
games
my
back then.
favorites. Yeah.
They
So
were
being
pretty bad.
able to be able to play as Batman was just awesome. But yeah, there again, I don't know I can't remember if that was like a direct inspiration or something like that, but I remember
Hmm.
thinking like, okay, she's got to get creative in this scene and she's got to start
Hmm.
using some of her tools, um, maybe in a way that you might not expect. So, and just
Hmm.
have fun with it.
I imagine you must have had a bit of fun, like pulling game mechanics from games,
Mhm. Yeah.
which is cool. There was another one. What was it? It was the ragdoll physics when
Oh.
someone gets whacked. I think it might have been her dad. I can't, but they get like ragdoll physics 20 feet in the air. And I grew up with like Gary's Mod, Half-Life, and stuff. Like ragdoll physics makes me laugh every time I see it happen.
I love ragdoll physics, man. Like there was a time in my life when to help to help me go to sleep, I would lay in bed, get my iPhone, and just watch ragdoll videos, just compilations of ragdoll video game ragdoll physics, because for some reason it would just relax me. So I love that stuff.
I get it, man. It sounds like we had moderately similar upbringings. Um, there was also you a Metal Gear Solid fan?
I played a little bit. I played only one game. It was the one when he's in the desert all the time. No, it's the one he was in the desert all the time. I can't remember which one that is.
That would have been four. No, five. V. Metal
Five.
Gear Solid V, where you've got the
Yeah.
arm that comes off like a rocket and it shoots people. And yeah,
And you can
yeah.
hide under the box and yeah, all that stuff.
Oh, that could be any of them.
Oh, that's in all of them?
That's in all of them. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
series
nice.
staple. It was the
Nice.
new Sons of Liberty.
Yeah.
They made me go, this guy's a Metal Gear Solid fan.
I'm
Interesting, man.
the more you're like talking about this, the more I'm like, huh, maybe there's some like more subconscious stuff going on there than even I realized at the time.
Yeah. Were you ever a Half-Life 2 guy? Half-Life at all?
I never got into it. No. I wanted to, but just for some reason never really got into it.
Based on the way that you write, I think you'd really like Half-Life, especially Half-Life 2. Half-Life 2 is a classic for a reason. But it was this very dystopian, sci-fi dystopia kind of thing. And the bad guys in it, the real bad guys in it, reminded me of they're like slug-like creatures, like big
Nice.
grubs,
Yeah.
called advisors and stuff. So that was one thing I thought. I also had a real laugh at what's the name of her app that she gets messages on? Jib Jab, like Jibber
Oh yeah,
Jabber.
Jim Jam. I was like, you know what? That just sounds like something that would be an app at some point, some
Yeah,
social
app
media
names are
something.
getting out of control. We've
Yeah.
got bingos and bongos and bingles and dingles and all sorts. You're getting app names for everything now. Another thing I wanted to ask then was the the kind of shadow rebel leader who communicates with everyone was called Riker,
Mhm.
and I thought, is this man a Trekkie or was that accidental?
No, there was again, I was trying to come up with just this cool name for this guy, and I can't remember the exact inspiration at the time. It wasn't Star Trek. I've only watched a few Star Trek movies. I haven't really
Yeah.
watched any of the shows or anything like that. Um, but there was, and I wish I could remember at the time. Maybe I looked up like the definition for something and I got like the name Riker or something, and I was like, "Ooh,
Hmm.
that sounds like a good shadow,
Yeah.
mysterious name person that I should, yeah, definitely use." I wish I could remember now, but I don't. But I do remember thinking like Riker has to mean something and it has to be cool at the same time. So that's why I went with that. But I can't remember the meaning now.
Yeah, I get you. I do that as well, where someone tells me something that I done in my
Yeah.
books. I'm like, God, that's really smart. I wonder how I thought of that.
Wow, I had a stroke of genius there.
Yeah, I should have wrote it down. So another thing I wanted to touch on because we've got maybe like 8 minutes or so left. So Ava's a what 16-year-old girl. I suspect you've got daughters, right?
I do, yes, very young daughters.
Did that come into it at all? Did you pull anything from your experience being a father? Because
Oh,
father-daughter relationship is like a big deal in this story. It's kind of the heart of the story.
yeah. Yeah, definitely. I have two daughters. They're both under 6 years of age. So it's it definitely becoming a dad definitely changes your perspective on a lot of things. And and so I didn't necessarily have any obviously they're not teenagers yet, so there's no like direct experience there or anything like that. But, I grew up with sisters who were teenagers at one time, so, so I've got some inspiration and some experience there, I guess. But yeah, it's just there was a lot of just kind of thinking about what it means to be a father to daughters. Um, we live in a troubled world right now, and we live in in a very interesting time of history, and it's stuff is crazy right now. So I often think about like, when I'm gone, what's the world going to be like for my daughters? Am I adequately preparing them for the world that may or may not be coming, because I don't know for sure what the world's changing into. And so some of that,
Yeah, it's an interesting. I can't remember her dad's name, but because I just thought of him as Ava's dad through the whole thing.
yeah, yeah, I think it's Robert McNeely.
That's it, McNeely,
Yeah.
I really like the his whole thing. Like, I totally get it. It's like, yeah, we've got, you can plug into the Matrix whenever you want. It's fine. I know life is terrible, but you can plug it into the Matrix. It's fine. And was it his grandparents or something that he mentions to his wife in the opening? Like, remember how they used to talk about how things were and stuff,
Mm,
and his desire to like just no longer can this man be bothered accepting the way that things are with the world. And I think it's definitely something that I think will resonate with a lot of people wherever they are in the world just now. It's definitely trending, you know.
yeah.
And so as we approach the final minutes of the interview, I wanted to ask you, Jay-Z Pitts, do we live in a simulation, do you think?
Um, I guess it depends on how you define simulation,
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah.
I'm a man of faith, so
hmm
I believe we do have a creator, and I do believe that we are living in his reality.
hmm
Um, so if you want to break that down, is that a type of simulation? I don't know. We obviously have a certain amount of free will, but I also believe that we have a certain amount of the creator's imprint within us that
hmm
affects our actions and our behaviors. So, I guess just depends on how you define simulation. I don't think we're mindless automatons, and I don't
hmm
necessarily think we are, at the same time, purely driven on some animalistic instinct through our lives and our history either. I think there is an author of history, so
I think this would be a good one to end on. Are you a Terry Pratchett fan, by the way? I've said that so many times in the last couple of interviews.
I
Well,
love
he's
Terry
got a
Pratchett.
great,
Yeah.
oh yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
He's got a great quote about humanity being where the falling angel meets the rising ape.
Uh,
And I think that's a good midway. And on the subject of are we in a simulation, it's one of my favorite sci-fi questions because, in a way, yeah, kind of like depends how you look at it, right? And it raises all questions about things like free will and our creator and where we're going, where we've been, what's real, what matters. It touches on so many different things, so you get so many different types of story out of that one big question.
hmm.
And I think the most disturbing answer I've heard to it is that you're familiar with the brain in the jar idea. That if you
Uh,
feed electrical signals to a brain in a jar such that it's experiencing some kind of reality that it can't tell the difference. So you could be a brain in a jar being fed this like
I've
signals.
heard like Elon Musk talk about like he thinks we're in a simulation because you wouldn't be able to tell if you were in a simulation or not.
100%. And someone pointed out to me, it was a doctor, that given that our brains are encased in our skull and that there's a delay between your sense apparatus sending signals to your brain, that we are just brains in a jar. Even if we're not in a simulation, we're still just brains in a jar that can walk around and talk and eat and stuff.
That's a crazy way to
Uh,
look at it.
which is probably a good time to call an end to the interview. So, for those of us who's made it this far and you still don't know what we're talking about Virtual Rebel. Would you hold it up again for us, Jay-Z? Virtual Rebel by Jay-Z Pitts. Great book. If you liked Ready Player One or something along those lines, it's moderately similar in the same vein. Well written, clear action, good dialogue, great characters. I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it, and I hope you guys do too. Jay-Z, it's been a real pleasure talking to you today, man.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
Is there anywhere that people can go to follow you on the internet or anything that you've got coming up that you want to talk about before we finish?
Yeah, you can I'm most active on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can find me there at JZ Pitts. But I'm also on Facebook, JZ Pitts, and Instagram at JZ.Pitts, I believe. Um, and I guess the last thing I want to say is I do have a new book coming out. It's coming out next week. It's a novella. And it's called The Christmas Demon, and it deals with a family who is gone on a trip to the Alps in Germany. Things go wrong, and they meet an ancient demon of folklore. So hope you guys check that out too.
That sounds amazing. Well, we'll put links for everything in the description. Thanks again, Jay-Z. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.